I not have tickets for here? Okay.
You haven't seen mine on my phone.
Let's go. What's your first name?
Catherine.
All right, gotcha. Thank you very much. Oh, it's so hot in here. I was dying earlier. I'm like, seriously, you need to do something because I'm up in flames. Great. And then, got it. Okay. Oh, is there one other person that's not here yet? But that's okay. I can get started. And then they can fit in. There we go. Okay. If you have to pee, just go ahead and pee. If you want to drink water, get some water. Because I will drink water the entire time. This is going to be on, but it will be not facing you guys. So, I don't know, it's weird, it's locked. You guys will not be on camera. If I just do this, here we go. Alrighty then. All right. First of all, thank you all for coming today. I know there's a couple more, but they'll just, when they arrive, they arrive. I'm used to working in Chicago bars. You come. At least that's how I started. Okay, so I'm Rebecca Foster. I know I've read for a couple people. Some people here know me, right? I don't want to know anybody's, I don't want to know who everybody is. I know a couple people's names, ticket holders, but the rest are, I don't know who you are, which is the way I like it. If it gets hot in here, I will be opening that door because I will start sweating. And it's not great. I was already dying. I was out there like, oh my gosh, the vent was blowing, and I'm like, seriously, we're dying here. Because they didn't have anything set up. Like, they didn't have anything set up. And I said, okay, who's going to help me set up? So they were hustling with me. They did an awesome job helping me do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, well, I give everybody a chance when I'm finished to ask questions, clarify things I've said. So at the end, then we'll go into any kind of Q&A. And I do this to keep everything clean so that nothing that you want to know is already fed into, you know, like what you want. I don't know what you want to know. So hopefully I will answer some questions today without you asking them. And being that it's like a short, quick thing, what you're going to get is what's most important for you to know right now. And if anybody ever watched one of my YouTube galleries? Okay, so basically I just read and I go through and I give you everything I can in that very short blurbed moment. So that's what I'm going to do today. It comes through from God, from spirit guides, from people who've passed over. I do not consult the dead. I will not ask them questions. If they want to show me something, say something. If they smell like something, I will explain all of that. And normally I'm an eye contact person. I'm strong eye contact. But when I'm doing this, everything here is kind of covered and I'm showing a completely different picture. So it looks, I'm looking at other things. So I don't take offense to me not looking in your eyes. And I'm going to just take a quick loop around the room and I'm going to read the most energetic person or people first, because if I don't, what I've found is that I'll go to read you and you'll go, and you'll like get in front of her and I'm reading her, but I'm really reading you. So if I am talking to someone and you think, that sounds like my Uncle Joe, raise your hand. There's always one at the end of the gallery that we're still trying to figure things out, and they go, I think that's me. And everybody's like, what? Why did you say that like an hour ago? So don't be afraid. Really don't be afraid, because then it helps me then, because if you both have an Uncle Joe coming through, then I can separate the two energies and then focus in on each one of you. I'm trying to think. It's all symbolic. So my guides have taught me to understand their messages through symbolisms. So I will explain to you first what I'm being shown, and then I will explain to you what it means. So it will sound completely crazy, but it makes a lot of sense. And sometimes the message that comes through makes sense to you exactly how it is, and it makes nothing to me because it's It's like an inside thing between you. I want to make sure I get it all. There's so many things that I have to explain. Then I have to do it all to everybody. I will not hone in on you and focus and tell the world something very sensitive or private, secretive. I won't do that. If there is a message to come through for someone that's important, I will explain it to the whole group. So then that person will still get the message, but it won't be calling them out for privately wanting to do something. That kind of thing. Okay. It all, just a little background, and then I'll get started with the readings, but I've been doing this for 32 years. It started off as a bit of a side joke. Everybody thought it was funny that I could do this. And then it really became something serious. I was doing it for, I don't even know, 9 years before I actually started understanding that I was seeing people that I could communicate with and that it actually made sense. So I was just reading futures and past lives, and then all of a sudden I was seeing dead people, so then it transformed, and every few years it would transform a little bit more, and then God basically said, well, you know, I gave you this awesome gift, but you're still not giving me credit for it. And so he blasted me big time. And what I mean is he opened up pretty much the gates of hell on me and said, you're either going to give me credit or, you know, you're not going to do this, at least not with me. I'm not helping you. So I took some time off, realized what I was doing wrong, and just started listening to him, because I started off reading tarot cards. And I used them. I didn't need them, but I used them because I thought I did. And he said, no more, no. He scolded me. I sold them to a very high bidder on eBay because they were bad cards. They were just very powerful. And just started repeating. So at that point, they started showing me a beach. So everybody has a beach, okay? And the beach represents safety, security, and grounding. Now, some of you will be on your beach tonight. And again, since it's such a short amount of time with everyone, some of you may start off in a house or on a mountain or by the water or in the water. So people are like, why don't I have a beach? You do. I just didn't get there tonight. Sometimes I don't make it there like right away, even on private readings, they'll take me someplace else. So as I get to things, I will explain what they mean. I will not be offended if anybody falls asleep, because sometimes people do. But hopefully it's enough excitement that you don't want to do that. And it's so funny because you look so familiar and I don't know why. Do I know you? No. See how I love how that happens. And so do you. I've never met you in person. I have. I've not. Wow. Okay. It's really cool. That means we're supposed to be here. We're all supposed to be here. It's just some people, they look really familiar. So it's really, really cool. Okay. So I'm just going to take a quick wander about. It helps everybody's energies kind of just settle. And then I will, we'll go from there. And if you want something, please do not be like, I have to go or I have to get a drink of water. Don't. It will not bother me. All right. An energy moves, so I move with it and I follow it around the room and I listen. And I will read as many people as I can tonight. And then I'll do, like I said, I'll do the question and answer. All right, so this is the way. I do, I go into people's homes, I'm like, I gotta move your couch and some chairs because they're in the flow way of the energy here. All right. I'm just listening to something real quick. I think this is for you. You All right, so before the first thing, and when I say the first thing it's about spirit guides, generally. And you also have a gentleman that's coming through. And please, you know what, because when a spirit comes through, they walk me through their world, of the person's world, they walk me through all sorts of things. And I get lost, I do, because I just am like enjoying everything so much. So everybody just start clapping or do something to shut me up and bring me back, because I don't want to spend so much time with someone that is either just showing me around because that's it, they enjoy to do that, or someone that isn't able to really process the message to me well enough. I don't want to waste time doing that. So this gentleman that's coming through, I'm thinking this is either a trumpet or a trombone. This is some musical instrument that he has. And it may be just the music that he's listening to, but it started when I was looping around, and that's why I was trying to figure out who it was coming from. And that's why I was like, okay, who is it up here? And I'm pretty sure this is for you. And this gentleman says that where he was concerned, where I guess this is like a recognition thing, because a lot of the times it's for confirmation. Hold on. It's, hi.
Hi.
Yes.
I'm Anthony.
Hi.
Okay. You guys are all set?
We are. Yep. We are good to go.
I needed you about an hour and a half ago, Anthony. Like, really?
Right? Yes. Okay, bye. We're good. We're just tearing the place apart here. So he has you, he says that you were at one point, you were walking, and it's funny because as I'm watching you, you have on this, it almost looks like a costume of some kind, because it's like a mini, but it's frilly. And the way that you're walking, it's almost like to music or to a beat. You're walking like there's a command amount, like you're commanding energy. And he's standing back, and it's funny, I don't even know how to express it. It's like he's standing back and he's leaning on, he's got an instrument or something right here, and he's like leaning on it, and he's watching you. And he says that when you were walking down this path this way, that you were following a goal in this dream that was personal to you. And he said all of a sudden, there's a distraction that's about here. And all of a sudden you stop and you are directed to the left. Now there's a male energy that's this way. I'm not sure if this was a child or someone, but there's a definite pause in your path where you go, oh, okay, and you're really debating. And he said, she gave it up, she gave it up, she gave it up for this. And so he's saying he wants me to recognize in you the concessions that you have made on this path, that you gave up for yourself as far, it's almost like industry, like entertainment or music or dance or something, because he's saying that you gave this direction up for, I want to say maybe motherhood or just caring, mentoring for someone. It feels like this started with a male energy. And as you turn the corner now, left turns most of the time will represent something that is difficult, it's risky, it is something you just have not done, it's new, and it can really shake up your path, because other people may be like, I'm not going that way, that wasn't where I was intending on going, and you end up walking a riskier path alone. We shed relationships, we shed all sorts of things as we take these riskier paths. And so this gentleman that's there, now this is how, I'm 5'6", I think he's probably taller than me, but he's skinnier than me, I think. But he's taller, and he's skinnier. His face is heart-shaped. His cheekbones are more like mine, they're not too he's not too cheeky. So, but I can see the shape of his bone structure, see his chin. His hair is, I want to say, thinner around the sides and maybe thinner on top, not bald though. And his fingers, he wants me to acknowledge his fingernails too. Like he's got really nice manicured nails to where they're just, the nail beds are long and they kind of curl down just a little bit, like they're just like perfectly manicured naturally. But they're music fingers. They're like, he does something with them all the time because that blood is flowing through his hands. And he wants me to pass on a message to you that regardless of which path you took, that you're a star. And this feels like someone who you would have crossed paths with. And it doesn't feel like this is father figure. This isn't intimate relationship. This would be somebody who was watching or was either trying to mentor or direct you at one point, and you redirected. Does that make sense to you? He's not like blood relationship, and he's not someone you would have had a relationship with. He would have been someone who was probably more experienced in either entertainment or music, mentoring, teaching, guiding, the way I mean, he looks like he would be somebody who you'd be really interested to listen to because he's got a history, he's got a story behind him. And watching you walk, you look innocent, you look naive, kind of walking down like, I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go do this with my life, and instead it's like taking on its own mentorship of teachers' growth as far as speaking and bringing people in and teaching them. And I guess it's supposed to acknowledge that you did exactly what you were supposed to do as far as reaching people and getting people to feel things, just a different way that you had thought you were supposed to do it compared to the way God wanted you to do it. Does that make sense? You're like, no. I guess it's just to acknowledge that sometimes we regret things and we think I should have or I could have, but we don't understand our own understanding. And there's I think that's an E name that he wants me, like an E that he wants me to acknowledge, like Earl, Eric or Earl, EA name. Yeah, and his face is it's stuck in my head, like it's seriously stuck in my head. I'm not reading for you, right? I'm not catching this is for you. Does the name make any sense to you? The EA name? Not making any sense to you. EA, D, not D. E, Earl, Eric, something like that. Like a strong E. And it's that sound, not like Ed or anything. It's the yeah, the something like that. But he's perfectly clear. He's like directing the whole thing. So, okay, and keep it in mind, and I'll keep him here so that he can keep talking if he wants. Everybody can stay if they want to while I'm doing this, and they will. But it's just this perfectly clear concession, giving up self or something else. And you guys all know each other? Oh, good. So, people know each other. So one of the best things is that when you know something about somebody, and then they're going, I don't know, and you're like, oh yeah. You know, that's better because then they can help jog memory. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Can you both say hello at different times?
Hello. Hello.
Do it one more time.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, this is for you. All right. It just helps me differentiate. I know it sounds weird, but the first thing they show for you is that you are, ground of any kind represents safety, the feeling of safety or the perception of safety and security. Water can represent issues and problems. Now, with you, you are, from your perspective, I'm kind of with you in your perspective. And as I am right about here, there's a little step here, there's a step here, but it feels weird doing that. How do I do this? So I step here, then I step here. Okay. Oh, it's really mucky. I mean, this all around me here is mucky, and I have these really beautiful flat stones. I mean, it's like about like that, and it's flat, and I know that I can step on it here. Why are they making me want to, I have to do it this way. Now, to reach it and not get in, I mean, I have to step quite a ways away, I'm sorry. You are wearing, I broke my shoe. Okay. This weekend. I did just that, and I pulled the whole sole off my shoe, which is awesome. You're barefoot. I apologize. I have to say this because you know when you step in mud and it squeaks between your toes? Before you get onto that step that I started off, and then 1 and 2, you're barefoot walking in this, and it's like it's not wet mud, but it's mushy mud. Okay, barefoot is good. Barefoot represents the perception or feeling that you are free to make choices right now. And it's funny because the way you're dressed, you just are wearing a pair of plain shorts, plain top, you're barefoot. Now walking across mud, at some point this would have had water on it. And so, again, water being a problem or a situation, the time frame of this is you getting over and really gaining the momentum, the gaining of the feelings that you're finally in control, really trusting that you're finally in control of things after a long time. And everywhere I look is this mud. And so this would be just a feeling overall of just, when is anything gonna get better? When is anything just gonna change and smooth out and it stop raining and pouring? And so the fact that you're barefoot, finally you're in a position to be able to make choices and to be able, heck, every time I come over here, it's so weird. It throws me off. There's something happening there. But there's finally, you're in a position to make choices. So these rocks are here. But like I was trying to do when I took that step with my left foot, what they're saying is most of the choices that you're going to be making will be decisions that are not so logical or rational. You may be looking at this and people are going, why would you do this? And you're like, I don't know, I feel like I have to do it. And the word feel comes out, like I'm feeling, I'm pushed, I'm being driven to do this. So you're going to have these unexplicable feelings that you just have to work with and go with. And this is important because a lot of times when we're stalling because we're being logical or we're trying to make sense of something, spirits behind us just kind of like trying to get us to move. And if we're digging our heels in, they will either make it all happen or they'll give us that option to take the risk and that leap of faith and kind of reach out and do it. And so that's what is really being explained is right now, you may have gone through a situation or a series of situations where things were not within your control, or they didn't feel like they were. Other people were dealing with it and throwing it at you. Now is the time where you are going to be able to make steps that are going to take you to dry land. But those steps they're a ways away. So there's like a stretch. Like you have to work at it to get like to each one. And they're not saying it's going to be easy, but they're not saying you're going to fail. It's just that you're going to have to do it, and that you want to do it. I always tell people, if this is what's going on, you want to make the choices happen, because if not, it's nothing worse than having things happen to you, because then you feel like you're just being thrown into the back of a wagon and your guides have taken off laughing with you and you're like, oh my God, where are we going? And they're like, just be quiet, I'll take you and drop you off where you need to go. And it's scary, and all you can do is just hope to God that everything is going to work out. So going from the muck, taking those shoes off. I don't know why you take them off in the mud, but you did because you have mud between your toes. You were just maybe like, I would have tried one more time. Just let me try it one more time and then I'll let you do it. So yeah, it just shows you hopscotching. And then I would think from like this rock here, if you go here and then you make it over here to this one here, wherever they were, I'm thinking you could probably jump from here to there and get on dry land. Now keep this in mind. When you make choices that change your normal rhythm of the day and they change how things are going and what people around you are used to, you're going to hit friction. The people around you are going to be like, wait a second. You're not going to be home every night at 5, or who's going to make dinner? Who's going to take care of it? If you're not going to be doing those, how is this going to get done? Now, in the process of you trying to make changes in your own life, these people have to now decide to change. And if they don't, a lot of times they're like, I'm not up for this. And you have different situations, but going back to what they were saying with you, if it's, sometimes like a single mother, she goes to take care of a child, then people are just like, I didn't want this, I didn't have any part of it, and they end up a single mom. And this, that's not the case here, but it could be getting a job, just going for a cooking class that's late at night, going for a degree, doing something for yourself where other people aren't so much achieving it with you, but they have to go with on the trip, and they're not up for it. And that's when you have to be like, you know what, it's either go with it or I'm gonna do it alone. And so that's kind of what it looks like. You kind of took your shoes off, or you took those shoes off, and shoes represent being held back. Shoes represent that perception of people or a situation is saying you can't do that, or you're not gonna be able to do that. And so by taking off shoes, I can't do it. There's a lot of things I can do. When I read for people, I like pick you up and I drop you in places. And I give you elephants and puppies and babies and candy just to see what you're going to do with these different elements. And one thing I can't do is take shoes off, because that's a free will choice. And it's something that you have to go through to figure out. So shoes off, you walk, there's a jump, you're gonna make it to dry lands. Once you do that, this is all new to you over here. You're gonna have to be like, okay, where do I start? Because there's no path. And usually it's a bramble and bushes and there's no entryway. Are you sure? I don't know. You just look so familiar. Okay. Like I've seen your doppelganger or something. It's so weird. So, really good things. It's just that it's going to take your strength and your decision making, and it's going to be passion filled. And that, before I move on to, passion is one of the best things, because we don't develop passion on our own. Inspiration and passion, we do math, we know 2 + 2 = 4, and we know that this is that, and we learn things. But when it comes to inspiration and innovation and passion, those come from places that we usually don't understand. It's just boom, and it fills us. And that's where spirit comes through. So if you are all of a sudden filled with like, oh my God, I have to do this, and I don't know why, I'm just really excited. And if that feeling comes through, you better follow through with it, because it's usually spirit that is filling you to push you to go do something. I don't care if it's running over and giving some homeless person $5 on the street. If you feel all of a sudden the need to do that, just go do it. You may look crazy. You may be saying hi to someone, just giving someone a hug, but if you're filled with like, go do this right now, people will look at you crazy. I get it all the time. I'm like, oh God, no, I don't want to go do this right now. I don't want to do this. And my kids will be like, what are you hearing? Just go do it, Mom. I don't want to go do it. Not right now. I don't want to do it. Why are you here, Mom? Oh, shut up. It's not fun. Okay. You. Okay. I am hearing that your career path right now, your career, your work, your job is going to change. Supposed to tell you that. You are probably from here to the end of the stripes in here. You're not very far out. In a boat. And it's funny because you're standing on this thing, and it's not very big. It's like just a little boat, big enough, long enough as you are. And you are barefoot, which is good. You have a skirt on, some kind of a jacket, and you're balancing, like you're standing there in the water trying to balance, and you have like your oar. Instead of sitting and oaring, you're standing and like pushing off the bottom of the water, the you know, whatever that is, the bed, with your oar. And so this right now, what this is saying is that at some point you've left your beach, you've gone out on the water, which is great. Opportunities when you are in a boat are represented here. If you're in the water, I would say this is a problem. This would be bad, but you're not. It's a personal choice to get in the boat and go out and seek out this opportunity. The way that you're dressed represents work, career, finances. So the balance portion is where there's an issue here. So it's like going, okay, how am I going to seek what I need and still take care of this, that, and the other thing? How am I going to work? So there is a question of both income and our time frame. There's like trying to balance out personal life with what you need where work is concerned. Seriously, whatever is going to happen right now, if it hasn't started already, it's about to, that you don't have to do anything. If you just sit down, you're going to go where you need to go, because this is something that's meant to be. It feels like you are either, that part of the change is required because you have to care for someone, or there's some kind of care happening here, that you are really, by feeling it within the heart and by choice, that you are choosing to expend extra energy in helping someone else. So it's personal, it's not monetary, you're not giving of your earthly things, you're giving of yourself. And so it's almost like everything just finally fits together, like I can help, I'm happy, I'm satisfied, I have my income, so there's a lot of change on the work front, but it's like a by choice. I want to say by choice, but at the same time you have to kind of let go of trying to make it happen, or worrying, because worrying is one of our things. You're being taken exactly where you need to go, and I know this because there's an anchor at the front of the boat. Anchors are represented, they represent God, and he takes us out far enough to where the anchor is dropped, and then he says, I've got you, just hang on, don't worry, I'm not going to let you go out and go too far. So it's work, career, changes coming. They will not just happen to you, it will be something that you are made aware of, and it's like observing, caring for someone. It feels male, like you feel like you have to. It's one of those, like, if I don't do this, I'm always going to feel like there was something else I could do. It feels like that. That's how it feels. Okay. Like I know I may be risking something, but if I don't do this, that's how I can explain it. So it's basically letting you know that Spirit's got your back, and that this isn't just all happening, and the garbage isn't hitting the fan just because this is you being placed where you were meant to be placed in someone else's life, because they were going to possibly do this. They were going to screw up something. Something was going to go wrong with them that you were going to have to help out somehow. So, and when I'm done, if you have like an explanation, like what you saw, because I won't remember your reading, so if you remember them, let me know, and just say this is what you saw, and this is what was going on, because it really helps me then to understand, oh, okay, now I see what they were trying to say. So sometimes that's the case, and people have a better understanding of what I'm trying to see, and I don't see it the way that I'm supposed to. All right. I think you have a really strong energy, but so do you. And I think you guys don't know each other. Okay. I have to separate you because I think you kind of have similar things going on that okay. All right, just say hello for me.
Hello.
Okay, now I can see the difference as to what's happening here. Okay, both of you, it's a different situation, and I don't want to confuse the two of you. I have to separate you. But you both have, like, you didn't want to be here. You're an old soul and you did not want to come back down. You didn't want to be here. And you are more just like, screw you all! And if you don't like it, I will drag you behind my car. It's just, you know, it's just like this, I'm supposed to be here, I have to help you all, but you're jackasses and you don't listen. It's just that, and it's not so much a hatred for humankind, but it's a contempt for the ignorance that is displayed around you. Why can't you get this? And what will happen is people who are older souls or incarnate angels will come down, and you more, that's why I had to differentiate you, because you're more like an incarnate angel, and I'm sure there's more in here, but the two of you are screaming at me like your souls are like yelling, and I'm hearing it. See, and the difference is both old souls, incarnate angels, choose to come down because they are here to, by choice, like, I'm going to go down and help. Whereas you're like, I have helped enough. I don't want to freaking go back down there anymore. That's what it comes down to. And so you both take on servitude jobs. You take on jobs where you are having to help and deal with people all the time. And you both attract really stinky people to you, and naughty people, and addicted people, and troubled people, and abusive people, and problem people, and you attract them to you. And where you are like, I am so patient, and I'm going to deal with all of you. And you do so with compassion and patience, and you absorb it, and then you throw their energy out, where you're just like, okay, I've had enough. There's a difference, okay? There's a tolerance difference. And you both have to know, I'm so excited you sat down next to each other because I can really explain this in such a differing way at the same time. You have to know when to say no. You have to know when to stop trying to help all the lost puppies and all the problemed peoples and all of the issues that, I mean, even Jesus knew, and I joke about this, but he knew when to go take a nap. He's like, y'all, I love the storm coming. I'm gonna go over here in this boat and take a nap, okay? And that's what he did. He made people figure it out for themselves. And so, okay, everybody here has a light. Everyone here has light that attracts people to them. And everybody here has people that they know that they want to run from when they call or stop by. Everybody does. If you don't, that's probably you, okay? It's, you know, and I think we're all that person once in a while. We're like, why won't they answer their phone? Oh, so the difference between the two of you is, at some point you were angelic, you gave up your wings, you come down here by choice to help. You have just always chosen a difficult path, and you've learned through difficult situations and hardships. And not now, okay, the difference is now, it's not so much that it's your path that's being screwed up. It's everything around you that you constantly are getting involved in. And if you look at it, is you go where you're needed. You both go where you're needed. You don't really go, when I grow up, I'm going to be a ballerina. I'm going to make this, and I'm going to die a happy old ballerina. It doesn't happen that way. You grow up going, I have no idea what I want to do. And old souls will usually do that. I don't know what I want to do. I still don't know what I want to do. I just go, you know, seat in my pants. And you go where you're needed. And so old souls and incarnate angels, both alike, will be jack of all trades. You know, if you are really good at a lot of different things. And you are like a beacon to people who are troubled and problems. You have to know when to cut off. And I think, and it was funny because I'm like, wait, what do you want? Like, both of them? Really? Just cutting off the people around you who you know you have outgrown, and that you have, by benefit of the doubt, over and over, and they still don't figure it out. And this could be parents, siblings, best friends, whoever. If you are constantly the ear, the big fat ear, just sitting there listening, and then you go, okay, this is what you need to do, and they're like, okay, And they go out and they come back and they're like, so I have this problem, and you're like, let me guess. You already know what you already know, it becomes tiresome. You have to know when to let go. Now, I put, and the difference is that I keep seeing you like behind a bar. And I know they keep putting you in a position of bartender, hairdresser, in that situation where people are always throwing up their energy on you. Where you try to give advice and people aren't always listening. So it may not be that you're a bartender or hairstylist, but that's basically an unlicensed psychiatrist's job. So if you've done hair or if you've got a bartender, it's pretty much the weight on you. And really true, the difference is you get fed up and walk away, and you continue to deal with it because you still think I can help them. You have to know when to cut it off and not feel badly about it. Neither of you should carry any guilt on who you've walked away from. Yes, this one's so to help you guys maybe better understand your positions. Now I'm going to separate the two of you real quick. I just want to make sure that I can fill you in each something personal here. Yeah. For you, right now it's a time of breaking habits. And so you really do have to say enough is enough where your habits are concerned. And this habit is involving the type of person around you. And letting go and saying, okay, basically saying, I recognize the next person that comes into your life. And everybody can do this, everyone should do this. But if someone comes into your life and you go, gosh, you remind me so much of a jerk I used to know. You say it just like they used to do it. You move your face just like that. You laugh just like that person I used to know. If you can recognize someone, understand that this is a sign. I don't need to learn this lesson anymore. And as painful as it is, you need to walk away from that. As hard as it might be, you need to walk away from it. I've said that to people before, and they're like, really? I remind you, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's not a consequence. It's not. I'm learning a lesson right now. And it's very difficult, okay? So your thing right now is letting go of habitual entries into your life and being okay with it and understanding you're not the problem. What your thing is realizing you can't save everyone, you can't help everyone, that you cannot make it better for everyone, and it's not your fault. Because you carry a lot of issue and guilt with the burden, and you aren't someone to go out and talk about your problems. So you take them and you deal with it a different way, like you beat up eggs, or you do something like you throw silverware in the sink. It's like you come out a different way, your energies come out a different way. And I guess it's God letting you know that I recognize you and I see what you're trying to do. You too, but like 11:11, does anybody ever see 11:11? My sister does. Nobody here sees 11. Raise your hand if you see 11:11. Anywhere, 11:11?
I do, I just think of my sister.
Okay, how about like recurring numbers, like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4? What are your numbers that you see?
1, 1, 2.
Okay, anybody else see any more numbers? Okay, so basically what you want to do is when you're seeing a reoccurring number, is think about what's going on in your life right now. Think about the experiences, good or bad. Like 11:11 is an awakening. And what it is upstairs is basically saying, you know, when you went down there, you promised to do this. Now, I need your help. Wake up and start doing it. And it can be scary because you know, you'll start, and I'm talking about it now. Now you all, it's like you go out and meet someone named Joe. Now everybody you know is going to be named Joe. You're going to start seeing these numbers. Pennies, how many pennies, feathers, dimes, do you find these things? Pennies? I mean, my feet jangle, my kids, when you find pennies, feathers especially, because they're not like they just come out of anywhere. if you're sitting there, pennies, feathers, and dimes they're from heaven, and they're basically to say to you, I'm here. This is the crappiest moment of your life, but I'm here to let you know it's all good. I get them when I'm angry. I'll look down, I'm like, okay, fine, put on a smile. This is stupid, thanks. And that's the kind of relationship I have with my guys, but they kind of roll their eyes at me. Numbers, reoccurring numbers. I get 4s all the time, and it's when I'm questioning what I'm doing. 4s are basically like, keep doing what you're doing, don't stop. Your thought pattern, what you're thinking of things right now, keep going, don't stop. 1s, it's all about you. 1, 1, 1, 2 is continue moving forward, there's a new beginning starting for you. And then when you see that number next time, go, crap. Okay, where's my boots and my gloves? Because something's about to have a baby cow. Just be prepared, just know. And then watch, when you get your numbers, what is going on and what happens shortly after those numbers appear. Because that will be their little message to you. The more that you listen to your guides, the more information they will give you. The more they will. Okay, so switching gears. It looks like you are on a bike, which is strange. I've never seen anybody on a bike really, on a pedal bike, like not a vroom vroom, but a pedal bike. And I'm behind you, and it's a cobblestone pathway, and you're not, you're like riding it up high, like you are really working out so that you are not vibrating down the street, and your teeth are not broken and chattering. So this pathway, although it is a hard, solid pathway, it's really bumpy and it's difficult. And what it sounded like they said in the beginning was that there's going to be a change of environment for you. So my question, I know they do this quick, but my question was, is this a trip or is this a move? And so what they're saying is you have the option. There's going to be an option coming up, an opportunity as far as changing environment where there's a move coming up. And so the thing about this move, this whole altering of your environment, is what's in the past stays in the past. Don't make any decisions coming up where anyone from the past has anything to do with it. So it's almost like they're going to give you a guide like that. Like if you go, I'm going to move. I'm going to switch where I do this or that, and all of a sudden you run into Joe, and I always use Joe in there, or Janet. I don't know, once Janet's eating cake, but it's a different, it's an inside joke. Okay, so you run into Joe, and Joe's like, oh my God, I live there, and you're like, okay, so scratch moving there. We're not doing that. It'll be somewhere else. But for some reason, I really feel like your energy needs to flow. It needs open air, it needs water, it needs almost a freedom to fly. It needs someplace where it can let out and let loose, where you're not staring at someone's backyard here, where you can just kind of unleash your energy and let it go. So this says that somebody such as we all need that place to go to just kind of deal with spirit and commune with who we believe in. Now, okay, I don't have to go there yet. Okay, so I'm just making sure. It's funny because as I'm speaking, they're telling me which way to go, and that's why I cut off. I'll go back there. You kind of are on this balcony, and you put your arms out, and the sun is coming at you, and you kind of just like put your head back, and you're inhaling everything. And as you're inhaling, you are being fed messages and calm. And I want to put you at the ocean. I want to throw you to the ocean and just like put you in a house by the water. And part of the problem that I see is that you must be sensitive in one way or another, because putting you around a lot of people who are bustling and moving, like if I was to put you in a city, it almost looks like it may cause stress or just this feeling to repel energy and pull back. And you are a reader naturally, so having that outlet for freedom for your spirit and your energy to just kind of melt and relax, no matter where it is, you should have. Water is one of the best places to be able to do that. So if you are in the city, or if you're in a place where there's a lot of people around you, a long bath, someplace where there's a pool, someplace where you can just go and close your eyes and listen to the water. It's just like, it feels like a need for your soul. But the move, I would love to pick you up and put you by water somewhere. It's interesting. So for you, but I'm going to explain this to everyone because it's directed to you, but I think everyone would benefit from it. So have you ever walked into a room before and you don't know anybody in the room, and someone turns around and looks at you and just makes you feel completely uncomfortable, like you don't belong there, or you are out of place and you're like, oh my God, what, you're just thinking, do I have a booger in my nose? Is there something wrong? Do I have toilet paper on my shoe? You feel awkward. The reason is because, and I want you to know this because I want you all to leave and to do this and be aware that you are naturally doing it. But you do it already. I'm sure some other people do here, but I'm being told to tell you this for whatever reason, is you read people, and some people are empaths naturally, so it's very difficult to be around others, and some read people really well. In a greater term, where seeing, kind of doing what I'm doing, but empaths, when they don't recognize what they do, it can make anxiety crazy, and it can make you just feel like you want to, again, reel in and pull everything in. And what happens is you walk into a room and you feel eyes on you, and and you can feel it. You know when there's eyes on you, even if there's nobody in the room, you're like, who is there? There's somebody looking at me. You feel it because it's energy. And what we do is we take our energy and we grab our lasso and we throw it around a person, and then we circle that person's energy and we pull it in. And part of that is, that's why you don't judge a book by its cover, because if somebody walks into a room thinking to themselves, I am totally freaked out, but I'm better than all these people. They're trying to put on airs because they're terrified to be there. They don't know what to do. They don't belong. They don't feel like they belong. And people who are nervous or scared will put on a show. And so we pick up those initial feelings of, I'm better than you. I know, no, you're just a bitch, because that's what we pick up. But they're not. And then you take the time to actually peel back that energy and get to know that person, and you find out, whoa, I really didn't like you when I first met you. But now I'm like, you're not. I've said that to people, like, you were really rude when we first met. But I can see how you're misjudged because you want everybody to think you're like this. But you're not. You got a lot of problems going on. You're like, woohoo, high five. You're just like me. So everybody does it. And the more you hone in on that and the more you work on that, it makes you more of a compassionate person, because then you find out how awesome people are on the inside when you strip away everything on the outside. And that people that, if you look at them, you're like, I would never be friends with that person. And just, for whatever reason, but you find out, I really do like this individual. Now you have an ethical dilemma. What do I do? Because everybody's going to judge me for being friends with a purple person. So you just have to figure out, how do I read people? How do I sense people? How do I feel it? And by becoming more attuned to what you are capable of as a spiritual energy, the more compassionate you will be, the more caring and loving you will be, because you'll realize what they have is just earthly. It's just all their beliefs, their looks, the way they are, the way they behave. This is earthly. Once we get past all of that and do what I'm doing and what I'm seeing you already doing, it just makes you that much more of a caring person. It just allows spirit to work through you, or allow God to kind of touch other lives. And that was the message for you, was that part of it is you being able to help others, but you couldn't or are unable to help someone who's so close to you. You can't, it's like, how come, it's like an electrician, everybody's wired, and in their whole house, the electrical's hanging out of the walls and the switches are hot, And so they're just letting you know that it feels like you're able to help a lot of other people, and you can see their issues. It's just that I'm not sure how distant it is, but basically saying that there's a relationship between you and someone else that you've had a lot of problems or friction with, that you just can't get them to understand it, maybe based on the tier or the way the relationship is, like mother-son, that kind of a thing. But there's lessons in all of our hardships. And it may not just be for you, it may be that part of this young man, that the energy that they're showing, this relationship would be his lesson to not listen and go, later on going, I should have listened, that kind of a thing. So it's not your free will, it's his that he needs to figure out. Okay, and you have like this massive nurse energy, and I just, like, it's just crazy. It's just, I can see you, a lot of your energy is motivation. And it's basically because you're able to shut off the emotional aspect of something and see what needs to be done, and then you can do it and basically go, I know what needs to be done here, and you may be crying, you may be afraid, but we're gonna do this anyway. And making people, it's almost, I wanna say it's like getting someone past the pain to be able to move or rehab or to function on their own, and to know that you go, you don't worry about it. I know what needs to happen. You can cry. It's you can do what you, because I know what you're capable of. And so there's a motivator there as well as a healing aspect of you. And your light when you shine is, you exude a lot of green light and a lot of blue light, which represents like calm, but then you put a lot of your own healing out to help people. So your hands and the way that you touch people and the way you lift them makes them feel good. And I'm also being told that you've been around several people at end of life as well, and that they are very grateful, that they're very grateful. And then I'm really bad with flowers because I'm hit all at the same time. But I would think this is like a daisy or something, because it looks white with like a yellow, or like a black-eyed Susan or something like that, but it's white with yellow. It's not a sunflower, and it looks white, like daisy-ish, black center to it. But there's a little tiny old lady that's giving it to you. And just basically saying thank you for what you do. And you, just, looking at that energy aspect, you just need to protect your own energy, because you put so much out for other people, and the way of exuding. Green light is for healing. Green light heals. And you're giving it away. Like, you're helping people heal, which means you are putting yourself and your own health on the line to help other people. So you need to start putting yourself first a little bit, like helping yourself and doing for yourself. And that's part of it. And it's not so much that you're healing them to where they're up there like they're doing the dances next. You're healing them enough to smile before they pass. I know that sounds weird, but like while they're ill, while they're ailing. Are you a nurse or something? What do you do? Don't tell me, I don't want to know, just forget it. But you've got like you can tell me later when it's over, but it's just like a person who would be like Reiki master or energy healings, but there is definitely this nursing thing going on around you that's caring, health, and healing. And I guess maybe it's just to help you recognize that upstairs recognizes what you're doing where other people are concerned. And a sister, is there a sister around you who's passed over? And she looks like you, but she looks taller than you. And she's, did you have, you have the purple hair going on, but she says this symbolizes something with her as well, because she's saying, so I don't know if it's a purple necklace or something, but it's purple. It looks like a teardrop, but it's purple. And she's talking about this with you, and she goes like this. She grabs her chest, but she's in, so something across the chest, so lungs, chest, breast is what she's trying to get me to acknowledge. And so to get me to just denote and acknowledge her personality, seriously, she sits back in like a chaise lounge and puts her feet up, and she grabs a big bowl of popcorn. She goes like this. Like she's watching, like she's just waiting to see what happens. She just wants to set the fire and then see what happens. So just kind of giving you, I guess, an idea of that she would be a pot stirrer in her health. And then before I move on, a dog. She wants me to talk about a dog. I think this would be her dog, but it looks, maybe it's your dog. Oh, how does the dog sound? See, dogs have voices too. Animals talk, they share. And is there an L or a J around her or you? An L? Almost, or the dog, is it around the dog maybe? I don't know if it's Leslie or Lindsay or something with an L or could be. Is it her daughter?
Mm-mm.
But the name makes sense. It's
Yeah.
affiliated with her. And the reason I'm only asking because the dog is the one who's telling me the name.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Okay. And it sounds like the dog is saying something about, gosh, I swear to you, the only thing I don't know because the dog is the one telling me this, please forgive me. I swear it tastes like pudding or bread pudding. It tastes like, you know how bread pudding is cinnamony and squishy and delicious? That's what it tastes like. And that someone stopped feeding the dog. Somebody stopped feeding the dog. The dog is saying this. Someone stopped feeding me. And I'm trying to get the dog's like accent down, but I can't. I mean, I'm hearing it, but I don't even know how to replicate it. I'm just a funny joke. I tell this every time a dog starts talking, but a friend of mine had a sister who had a Rottweiler. He was huge, and his name was Magic. And Magic came through after he'd passed off, and I seriously, the dog sounded like Sean Connery. And I was like, your dog sounds like Sean Connery. He's so good looking. If I was a dog and he wasn't dead. But he was such a sexy dog, and that was a big joke. I mean, I always tell it because he was like talking like this, like a Scottishman. And I'm like, yeah, so handsome for dogs. But this dog sounds like, I can't, it doesn't matter how he sounds, but he sounds like a skater or something. I can't get it down right. He just feels like a wannabe energetic thing, then he's not. I know that sounds weird. But, so she's there, and she's eating popcorn, and I would think she's also symbolizing the fact that her stomach would have had issues, so she's able to eat something that would have caused her problems in life. And then she also wants me to acknowledge something around, I think this would be around the ankle maybe, I don't know if it's a bracelet or a tattoo or something around her ankle. And it feels like it feels almost like it wraps around my ankle and may go down. So I don't know if she had a tattoo that went around her ankle and across her foot or something, but she wants me to talk about the ankle portion. And so, I'm here. She's like, I'm here. All right, very cool. All right, y'all supposed to go like this. You're supposed to clap and wake me up. I know, see, everybody gets lost. And then everybody else is going, oh, I can see this too. The people start visualizing it, seeing it, and it's like, yeah. Okay, you know what, speaking of that, is there anybody that's interested in like how you develop doing this?
Mm-hmm.
It's so simple. It's so easy. When you're, whatever you're doing, you start daydreaming, The moment you start daydreaming, you are in a place that your brain is shut off and anything can happen. Anything is possible when you're daydreaming. You can fly a Skittles plane across the sky. You can do anything in a daydream. And that's because your body is basically, your brain has said, oh, they're daydreaming. That's okay, she can talk to dead people, see whatever. And the moment you go into a daydream mode and people are like, hello, that's where I read. That's where you do it. That is where you are talking to your past loved ones, when you're conversing with God, when you're saying your prayers, when you are trying to come up with an idea, like, where the hell did I leave my keys? When I find something, I'm like, oh, thank you so much, because I'm like, I know I wasn't coming up with it. So when you are trying to hone this down, the first step you do is think of someone. Just think of someone. Go into a daydream mode and think of someone. And then give them a few minutes and see if they call. And when that starts happening, oh, I was just thinking about you. Oh my God, I was thinking about you. Great. Ah, and everybody's excited. Well, the more you do that, the more your guides will say, okay, now she's going to lunch with Janet. Make sure Karen tells her she needs to go to the doctor and get that checked. Okay, Karen, like, seriously. Janet, are you like coughing and sick lately? Yeah, I feel like crap. Okay, go to the doctor. You'll start getting more and more confirmation from your guides when you listen and you start passing on those messages. They will use you. They will ultimately use you. It's really cool. Okay, so for you, yes. You are on your beach, which is great. However, you have created this pier that puts you out into the water. So it allows you basically, essentially, you can stay on solid ground without completely giving up what you've done, but you can still seek out opportunities. So it's kind of finding a place where, okay, I'm not exactly satisfied with this anymore. I want to pursue something else, but I don't want to screw this up and give this up. So I want to check out what's happening. That's kind of how I can explain this. So you're not off seeking out opportunities, but you are in a place where you're going, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? Like, I can't do this all the rest because I just feel like I've gained too much. I can't do this. I've outgrown this. I'm bored. There's like a monotony around it. And so going out on the pier is, yes, and okay, so you also can't think, like, how am I supposed to be spontaneous and still uphold all of these manly things I'm supposed to be doing? And so, you'd be surprised how many men I read for. I bet half and half. I bet it's half women, half men. And okay, they just switched my gears. You are going to be tempted. Now, the word tempted means that you're out on the pier. Something is going to come along that you're going to fear, if I don't take this now, it's going to disappear forever. Don't fall for that. Because fear and temptation don't come from God. He doesn't tempt us away from things. It's basically what he is saying is if there's something about waiting. You have to wait. An opportunity, again, that is too good to be true, that feels almost like somebody's pressuring you to make, or that you are feeling pressured to make, they're saying don't make it right away. Until you're able to look and read all the fine print and understand all the details, don't jump in the water. The moment you jump in the water and you haven't thought about everything properly, you're going to be feeling like you're drowning. And then it's really difficult to get yourself back up you got to swim through the water to get back up. So there's this ultimate possible chance of totally screwing things up. So what they're saying is wait. Choice and opportunity is going to come along to you where a career, and I don't even want to say career, I want to say life change is going to come along, where you're able to shift gears entirely and finally do something that you've wanted to do. And you'll be able, because I feel like your beach is great and it's calm, but it looks like you're bored or something. Like it's something's got to change. There's this almost like a building entrepreneur or something in you. It's like a bit of a risk taker that's growing up in there. And that feeling, again, is going to drive you out onto the pier, but don't get in the water until you're able to come back, remain grounded, look at all the details, figure out what you need to go out in the water, and then allow that to happen. But career finances, don't sign anything, don't put money out, do not give money out, do not loan money out, nothing right now. Give it a chance to process, because it feels like there is a lot of success coming for you financially within, I wanna say 2019. But you have to play everything slowly and fine-tuned. And then a gentleman comes through like a father figure, and he goes, just play it like me. Just play it like me. So I don't want to say like super controlling about money, but very careful, frugal. Just, and they're showing you like silver coins, like silver dollars or silver coins. Somebody who might even collect stamps or something. So this may be like paternal grandfather, but somebody on your fatherly side, so father, grandfather, and collections, big collections like that take time. Successful things, they take time, is what he's saying. Okay. I just want to make sure I got that. That was almost like, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. Women know what that means. Everything's fine. That's what I asked. I'm like, am I good? He was like, yeah. That's why I backed up. Okay, so what did I just miss? Am I not? So that maybe just a clue as to whoever I'm speaking with would have been like, is everything fine? Like, okay, what am I missing? What did I not pick up here? Which was funny. I mean, leaves you guessing, wondering. I'm gonna leave him open though, because he looks kind of a riddler, joking person. Does that make sense to you? Do you have an idea, without saying, do you have an idea who I might be talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so don't say anything. It's funny. And you know what, he's definitely like a attention person too, like he's in the back of the room, but he's like, let me tell you the one, and then he cut himself off. So, all right. All right, for you, I think this must be a sister energy that's coming through for you. Because this is like, I'm not sure if there's a Lorraine or a Lane or something, but it's like A-I-N, like I want to say Ain, like Elaine, Lorraine, something like that double sound. And when I walked up to you, I felt like almost like I was at church and I was coming through, and I'm almost like behind her now in a pew, and she's here, and she's got her head down, and she's like this. She's got her hand on her chest like this, and she's going like this. So she's like saying a prayer at the same time that she's talking about healing. And so I'm with you here. And she turns around to you and she goes, why are you so quiet? Stop being so quiet. She's like, you sing with me, And she goes, and we will both pray for the healing, and we'll both raise our hand, and we're both going to pray for healing. And so she's got her hand up, and she's singing, and I'm trying to listen to what they're saying. I'm not going to try to sing what they're singing, but I'm trying to hear the words. It's almost like they're singing a song, like First Joshua, I think it is, about it's saying lay me down, but then I'm hearing the lyrics almost from like some and it's not I don't think that's a song about being by water, being stronger near the water. So it's basically like she's singing just like let it go and asking for that that living water to be going through you. And she, I think it's also for her that she's doing this, that she's singing this, that she's talking, and she's, and I can hear like a chorus, and they're singing like, they're almost like they're humming this really loud verse, and they're not even really singing words, just lay me down, and it's not like lay me down by Green Cat, it's not that, it's water and by a tree, and I forget how the verse goes, but I can see it in my mind's eye. And then she's telling you to speak up and to get loud and to sing and don't be quiet. It's like, don't put baby in a corner, that kind of a thing. And it just feels empowering, like she's letting you know that she's there. And I want to pick you up. I'm going to do that too. I'm like, I'm going to pick you up and put you next to her there. And you know, when I do that, she just reaches over and she kind of puts her arms around you and she's hugging you. So if you're feeling that right now, if you are feeling any alteration in that energy or the tingling of that will be her. So I'm going to just really quickly do something. I'm going to take you both out of the situation. I'm going to put you on your beach, and I just want to listen real quick. I don't want to ask any questions. She says, Mama is good. And she's baking. And you're walking it alone. She says, you're walking it alone. But you're not alone. She also says that you're going to have a bit of a mountain to climb. Okay, so when she tells me that, that tells me that you go through a mountain. When you climb a mountain, it's not like people can climb this journey with you. This is, if you picture yourself looking up at a mountain, you're like, oh my gosh, you know, you're going to scrape your knees, you're going to bang your nails, you're going to tear stuff apart. And it's a journey that you go on alone, and it's difficult. But she's saying that this will be something that you surmount, that you get over and above. And that she's like, you may think you're alone, but you won't be. I will be there pushing you on and cheering you on. She says it's not time for you to eat. Mom's cooking, is what it sounds like she said. So everybody has their own heaven up there. It's true. We all have our own heaven. And there are people who, you know, drive. They drive everywhere. There's people who cook. There's people who go golfing every day. It's what your heaven is. Is everybody cold? Do you want me to have that turned up? Because I'm comfortable. Everybody, I'm looking around. Everybody's like this. I'm so sorry. I'm just looking around. Everybody's freezing. And I'm like, whoo! Oh my God. I'm so sorry. You guys cold? Do you want me to ask you? You are like bundled up. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, I can't change it either. They have to. Oh, I can. They fixed it so I can change it. Okay, there we go. I'll heat you guys up for a moment. Oh my God, somebody should have said something. But everybody has their own heaven, and so people, when we die, when we finally decide that we're going to check into heaven, we check in, and our heaven is what we want it to be. And people always say, well, what about if I've been divorced or I've been remarried? You know, where am I going to be? We all have our own heaven up there. So we're all shared. You know, we all have our own little place. And we're all like, that doesn't sound, that doesn't smell very good. Right? Okay. Well, there's a door right there. And she did it. So we're just gonna, I'm just kidding. So, I know. It's like maybe just burning dust or something. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. Okay. So that's what she's saying. And so it's not time for you to taste her cooking yet. So that just means that there are things to happen for you that you're going to go through alone, or at least you're going to physically feel like you are, and you're going to have people rooting you on. And so and it's so cool too, because when you feel people around you, when you smell people around you, when you sense them around you, they're around you. Talk to them. Just be like, oh, you know, my grandmother always comes through and I know exactly what she smells like. I'm like, hey grandma, and I'm doing dishes or something, and you just smell people, you smell them. Or like when you go in someplace, let's say you go into an antique shop, or if you've ever been on just a tour or a trip where you're in a historical place and you walk in and the smell of like leather or tar or something hits you, and you're like, and you are feeling like, I know that smell, and it feels like home. It's not from this lifetime, it's probably from a lifetime before or a past life, you know, it's from a different time. And those bring back those memories of like, I didn't do it this time, but I've done it before. People go, past life. We all have a lot of past lives behind us. I guarantee you all have past lives behind you. And the reason is because we really are trying to be more Christ-like. And when I say that, you know, you may not be Christian, you may believe in something else, but I can read for Christian, Muslim, Teo, person, I can read for Hindu, and everybody gets the same energy. It's the same voices that give me all the, so there's just, when I am talking, I share it as my belief, and then people have to conform that or take it into, you know, if someone is Muslim, they're going to be talking about Muhammad, not Christ, you know, that kind of a thing. And usually that will be identified, but when I'm sharing, I'm doing it from my perspective. So I don't want to offend anybody, but so that's just because it all comes through the same channel. Okay. So I don't even know where I was going with that. Okay. The pink shirt. Okay. You have a very fun visual here. It smells like cotton candy. It smells like candy, like a hot candy. And it looks like a fireman's pole. No, this will sound bad. It sounds bad. But I'm looking at this, okay? It looks like a fireman's pole with like a chair on it. This sounds even worse, but it looks like it spirals down and you can like sit on it. It looks like almost like a ride. And it smells like candy and cotton candy and just like fun. I mean, I want to get on this and like ride this. I'll probably throw up because I can't do that anymore, but the spiral down. And you are having a lot of fun as you're coming down this, and then you're like, you run back up and you get back on and you come back down and you spiral. So there is this, as I'm watching from this perspective, you're cheering, you're like, come on, don't be afraid, and you're like bringing people up and you're throwing them on the chair and they're screaming as they come down, and you come back down and you're rooting people on and overcoming their fears and bringing them down. So people are laughing and they don't even know who you are. They're just like, this is so much fun, she's crazy, we're having a good time. And so you are ushering people to laughter and ushering people to forget about things for a little while and just have fun. And everything about it, the scene that you've created for me is fun, and it smells good, and it's inviting. So what they're trying to say here is that you are a person who wants to, you want to make people happy. You want to make people feel comfortable and feel good and feel squishy. And that means that you put a lot of your own personal issues completely aside in order to make, it's like Tears of a Clown. It's boom, it's you putting on a really smiley, happy face and still having that pain and that suffering and stuff happening behind you. And the helping portion of all of this is what also feeds your inner soul. And so you've got, it feels like mother-father energies that are coming through from both sides, lots of lineage. I almost also kind of want to jump over the pond too and go talk to people over there that would be family within your family. And it's funny because they sound like they're like talking like they've got on a brogue when they're talking to me. And I can't even do it that well, but that's almost Scottish. But that's how they sound, like they're from that island, Scotland, Ireland, and it just keeps, and they say you just keep coming back. They just say you keep coming back, and it feels like it's you are you always put yourself in a position like human resources and certain things that helps people get through a really crappy day with a smile on your face, and then you go home and you're like, okay, seriously, drink, cards, anyone? Okay, and just let's just go for hours and give me a cigarette. I don't even smoke, but let me have one of those things too. You know, it's just this feeling of you know how to unwind and let go. You have your safe haven at home as well. Like you have your safe. You keep those a very select few close, because even those that are close to you, you keep them at a bit of a distance as well, because you know that some of the people that are even close enough around you this way may sting or bite once in a while, so you keep just enough closeness between people that you trust around you. And the rest, you're like, yeah, you're close, your family, I love you so much, but you stand back about right there. So, it's interesting. It's like they flood all of that in. And you're really good with kids too. Kids love you, and you're really good with kids. And it's funny because when I say that, it's what's even funnier. I say funny and interesting an awful lot. But you're good with children, they love you, but you also have like a bit of a barrier there as well. Like your patience only is so far, to where you're like, you're great and all, but put them in a cage. Duct tape or whatever we gotta do. I always go places, and people don't know how to take me, of course, because they don't know me when I'm out in public, and I'm like, do you guys have cages or kennels for them while we're here? Coloring books? What? People are looking at me like, I'm like, I'm just kidding. You can't kennel my kids here. But you can't joke around about that stuff anymore. My kids once got in the dog's kennel because it was a huge kennel, and they just like to play in there. When he was out, they'd get in and shut the door. And my husband took a picture of it, and I'm like, do not. It's not even funny. That's funny to us, but if you post that, it's going viral and we're going to jail, okay? People don't have a sense of humor anymore. Now if they were tied up, bound, gagged, that would be a problem. Okay. Awesome stuff. All right. Okay, for you. You have, there is a gentleman coming through, and I'm supposed to talk about rubbing your feet and giving you flowers and making sure that you are greasing up your joints. You're supposed to be taking care of your joints. You're supposed to be taking care of your joints, making sure that you're rubbing your joints and you're taking your vitamins and that you're walking and being mobile and you're not letting anything get tight and seized down. Like, this person is very seriously concerned about your joints, your mobility, and making sure your feet don't hurt. And it's weird. Okay, so from my perspective, I would turn around, but it'll completely throw it off. So from my perspective, I am, and I may reverse the picture. Sometimes I reverse because it's mirrored. But from my perspective, I'm in a bed that has like a white lace or white looking crocheted or embroidered or something bedspread. It almost looks a little old-fashioned, something earlier century, early 20th century. It looks white. And doorway is over here. There's a window and there's a window here. And it's a warm heat. It's a warm, I think the floors would be hardwood underneath, because when I walk I can hear them kind of creak. So if they're rugged or carpeted above that, that's different. But it's a warm breeze, sunny out, and it's kind of blowing in. You know those kinds of days when it's still okay to have the windows open, it's not too hot. But it smells like somebody is walking up and handing me like wildflowers as I'm on this bed. And I feel like this is not a time where you can just go to the store and buy a dozen roses. You go and pick someone, a bunch of wildflowers. Excuse me, when I talk, I swallow air, and then I burp the whole time, so. But from that perspective, I guess, is how I'm being shown this room. And it feels like just an older room. It feels like something that has just been captured in time. And from the bedroom door, as I walk in, the bed is over here with the pillows up this way. The window is here, window here. And I'm behind a taller gentleman with lighter hair, broader shoulders, and he kind of walks up next to the bed with these flowers, and that's all he keeps doing, is walking in, and that breeze, I can smell it, like it smells like heat and a flower garden. That's what it smells like. And I know that's hard to express, but it's a hot flower garden. That's what it smells like. And he walks up, and that's where he stops. And then I watch him walk back in and walk. So somebody is definitely trying to convey the message that they are around. And what else is that? That's almost like gravy. I knew that sounds weird too. I smell gravy. Do you make really good gravy or something? Somebody wants, it's like, I think it's a brown gravy. I think it's a brown, like I'm being told to talk about your brown gravy. And then, before I move on, then I'm also being told to tell you that hold on, let me listen to that again. Okay. It sounds, in so many words, like he said, you're going to be asked to help out with something where there's women involved. And he goes, in so many words, he says, to just tell those women no. Because it looks like he's saying either they're judgy or they're persnickety, but there's something that is ungrateful, almost as if it's like something you should just do because you're being asked. It's like maybe a privilege, but he's looking at it like, those women, really? God. Like he's heard enough or had enough of their behavior or the way that they are, or just, I don't know. It almost feels like, I don't know if it's like a women's group or something. I don't want to say it's a church group, because you hope they don't act that way, but you know they do. You get near a kitchen when there's a bunch of women in the kitchen at our church, and you aren't allowed past the threshold. They're like, what are you doing in my kitchen? This was God's kitchen. I was supposed to help. No, I've just learned to stay out of the way. It feels like a group, probably like a women's club or something, where you're putting on a luncheon or there's something happening. And it's funny, he's like, she's gonna go do whatever, but tell us women no. Just tell them no. Just go shopping or the zoo or something. Just no. And also there is, before I move on, there's a baby being born around you too. Somebody around you is pregnant with a little boy. No, it's not you. It almost feels like a generation down. So it's not direct child, so it would be either grandchild or a great niece or nephew around you. So it's a step down having a boy, but it's within the family and it comes up, so it's going to affect you somehow, which is a good thing, in a positive way. In a positive way. Okay. Someone around, I think it's around, maybe it's around you. Someone around you guys. Say hello for me really quick, both of you. Hello. I think it's around you. Someone smells like licorice. Licorice. It doesn't make sense to you, right? It's someone around you. He looks like he's wearing like overalls like you would find like on a railroad, and he smells like licorice. And it's not for you, correct? I'm not reading, okay. And a B initial, a B. And do you know who I would be talking about off the top of your hand? Off the top of your hand. But he he smells like black licorice, not black licorice. I don't like black licorice. I know what that tastes like. You know when people make something look really good and they're just like, it was so good, and they're just talking. You're like, just give me some of that. You throw it and you still can't eat it. I'm like that with olives, licorice, certain things. People make them. They make people things look so good. You just no. But he tastes like licorice. Like he wants me to acknowledge that. His initial B. He's weird. He's bigger, and it looks like one of the straps might be broken, but he's not going to fix it because it doesn't matter. And so looks like like pinstripes or something on the overalls, and it almost sounds like I'm listening to like a hammer or something, like a hammer, ting ting ting. Like it's loud, like hitting metal, ting ting. I don't know if he worked on a railroad or if he fixed things, but he wants me to acknowledge that loud sound of the hitting of the ting 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 sound. And his leg, he wants me to acknowledge his leg. So I'm wondering, I'm like thinking, golly gee, am I limping? Or what's wrong with my leg? Is my leg gone? Is there some kind of it may be even trying to signify like diabetes or something, where circulation will be called, but it feels like my right leg is very sore, and I'm not sure if I lose my leg, but it feels like right at the knee, I'm in a lot of like constrictive pain, so I'm not sure if this is like diabetes or an injury or something that I just feel like I'm having difficulty walking on my right leg. I would probably walk with a bit of a limp. It's gotta be, and I don't know if arthritis, no, but it's at the knee joint, it's at the knee, where I'm having trouble moving on this leg. And then is there like a barb or a barber around you guys? Are you all together, the three of you?
Yeah.
You are all together. So good. Okay, because you can like quietly. Don't let me. If you're gonna talk, don't let me hear you. But art. Is there an art around you? Art. That makes sense. Is this does he fit the description of the person I'm talking about?
Probably everything but the overalls.
Everything but the overall? It's interesting because, I mean, that the fact that he's wearing these wants me to acknowledge the outdoor work, the harder work. The overalls signify working hands, working strength, like requiring strength, requiring like farming, requiring being outside in the heat. That's really what, like, they could represent railroad work, farming, but even like mechanical work of some kind. But that's what, and sweating, you're working your butt off, hot sweating. That's what those would represent, on top of trying to identify what he would be doing. And I think that would be like a cigar or something. No, it's not a cigarette. It's not a pipe. It's some kind of a tobacco. And he, it almost looks like it's like something burning like in a bowl, and it's not incense, but it's tobacco, it's not marijuana, it's not, everything has a particular smell to it. So he's not trying to talk about health or anything, but he does want me to talk about my lungs. Like my lungs feel so tight, like I'm breathing something in all of the time, and it's affecting my lung. My lungs feel tight. Like when I breathe in, I'm having difficulty. It feels crackly, like if it were, like when balloons dry up and they do, when they kind of shrivel, they crackle. Have you ever seen that? Has anybody ever you ever smoke or anything like that? You ever, well, that whole feeling of like you not being able to expand your lungs, that's how it feels like when he is taking a deep breath. My son keeps messaging me. He wants to know when I'm gonna be home. I'm not telling you when I'm gonna be home. I'm not stupid. I'll tell you I'll be home in 4 hours when I'm around the corner. And if you're watching, okay, now you know. But it feels like when I try to expand my lungs, there's a difficulty in breath there. And so he's obviously trying to get me to communicate oxygen exchange, my breathing. I don't feel like I'm having difficulty breathing, or he would have signified this up here. But he wants me to acknowledge like oxygen exchange, this way the circulation happens with oxygen, and how I might feel like tired or just exhausted. And I would think that this would have come later on, or right? Later on? No. So he must not have been somebody who would have, I don't want to get lost talking to you now, so I'm going to give you a minute here, but he must not have been somebody who was always open about how he felt or getting treatment of some kind, because I'm looking at him and I'm looking at everything he's telling me and I'm going, gosh, this had to have been something you were feeling. That's what I'm saying, this must have taken time. But then when I got over here, he was like, nope. So he's making me feel like something would have appeared to have happened really suddenly, but it would have been something that he would have been dealing with for some time, that he would have either ignored or just been like, oh, that's fine, I'm just tired today, or I didn't eat enough or something. So it's like he would have overlooked a health issue that would have caused something sudden. And that's like, that's interesting, because I almost feel like, somebody want a mint? Wake them up? Not that they need to be woken up, I just need some sugar. Because it feels just like something sudden, like an embolism or something of that nature. You don't have to tell me, but that's the only way I can explain it health-wise. Okay. I don't need all that in my mouth. Try and talk at the same time. But he drew on my energy. He's trying really hard to get his message through. That's why I gave him just a little bit more time, because he's trying to make me feel like he would have felt. And so by doing that, he drew on my energy, which pulls on my sugars, and then it weakens me. Excuse me, I'm chewing this out. I said before I got in here I'm going to eat a Snickers bar. I was going to walk in with Snickers all over my teeth and smile, but I didn't think that would be appropriate the first time we're meeting. You, darling. So when I'm seeing something. I just want to move you around a little bit. I want to pick you up and switch gears here, because I want to kind of get a double confirmation of this before I open my mouth. Okay, so what they're showing is, the first thing they showed is, as you're walking, I'm watching your blood flow through your body, and it almost looks like energy, the way that it's flowing. It almost looks like not so much blood, but energy. And I can see that it is blood, but they're putting it where when you're moving, when you're active, this is flowing throughout from like the top of your, and it's weird how they're showing it, but that's why I say energy, because it comes down and it follows your outline and just all squiggles. And as you're walking, it's flying off like out of you. So one, what they're saying is like this activity, just of the mobility portion of things, is a healing aspect for you, because it almost looks like it's detoxing you. There's something going on with you right now where you're being detoxed or you're being stripped and cleansed. All this is coming out of you. And it's weird. How do I put it? It almost sounds like I'm hearing like little things like, and they're tiny, and I'm just watching them and I'm thinking, we need to get rid of those. They're like little tiny blood fleas or something. It's the only way to explain it. And they're just in there. And as you're walking, they're kind of just going ping, 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 like all out of you, like you're being detoxed. And so then I was looking for that bit of a confirmation as to what are you talking about. And the next thing they showed was you were kind of, you were walking about knee deep in just what would be like water, but it's darker water. I can't see your legs in there. I can't see that. So the fact, and you're not swimming, so that's a good thing. But it does show that whatever is going on with this flow throughout you, one, detoxing energy and getting rid of anything negative around you. And you already know that. I'm hearing, okay, you already know that. Two, activity, physical activity, mental activity, spiritual activity. All those on the positive side are helping to flush this out of you. It's like just a health, and as I'm watching this happening on you right now, I'm also kind of like squeezing them out of you. I know I'm like, it may feel weird, but I'm like squeezing this out of you as well. But being in the water of any kind, it just feels like as you're walking, you're kind of like, you're really having to move through the water. So there is this feeling of being caught in the problem, of being stuck in the problem. As I back up a little bit further from the picture, it's around you. So there's this feeling of like, gosh, when is this, how, I feel like I have to walk a mile before I'm even going to be out of this. So there is this feeling of being submerged in a problem with really no solid ground in sight. So there's a feeling of frustration there as well. And then not being able to see in the water, it's like everything around you is dark. When you're in the water and it's dark, the reflection of the moon or something, it makes it difficult to see the clarity. So what I want to do is pick you up, because I can do that. And I want to see what's happening here, because I want to see if I can help figure this out. So when I pick you up and I put you on dry ground, you have on these like metal boots. They're metal, they're heavy metal boots. So those are the feeling of being restricted or feeling held back. As I said earlier, shoes, anything like that would represent just that perception that I'd love to do this. I would, but I can't yet because I have to do this, because I have to do that, because of this person or that, I'm being held back. And so I'm thinking that there are two things of your becauses. Okay, that's not even a word, but we're just gonna go with it. One is a legitimate reason why you are feeling like you can't completely do what you want to do right now. And that will pass. And it goes back to these little blood flea things that I'm wanting to squeegee out of you, okay? But the other one, is definitely, you're fine. The other one is definitely, just not because I think it locks when you come back in. Did it lock when you guys? Okay. Did somebody let you in? Did I let you in?
No, when.
Oh, I was like, see how I'm out of it. See, I'm like, who did that? One of them is definitely a person around you that would be either not helping keep you lifted or spiritually helping you on the journey, and that person needs to either be set straight as to this is how I need you to be for me, or I need you to go away. And that's one of the hardest things to do, because I never want people to just walk away from a loved one. However, you can only take so much when you're already going through a lot, to have somebody not say, I love you so much that I'm gonna lift you up and I'm gonna hold you up, and it means enough to me that I'm gonna hold you up this high. And by doing that too, it fends off all of the things that are spiritually trying to bring you down. So I would say to this individual, look, this is what I need right now. This is what I'm going through, and this is what I need. Are you capable of helping me with this? Are you capable of doing this? And if they say no, then just say, okay, in my mind now I know I have to pull this back from this individual, and understand that you can't rely on that person for this, and move forward on your, and I know this is so hard to do, because that means you have to pull your energy off of someone who you would like to entrust your care with or your love, but it just looks like sometimes, and it might be one of these situations where in order for them to figure out what they really want, they have to lose a portion of you. They have to lose something from you. And that may just be the simple threat of losing you altogether. People always go, is this an idle threat? Is this legit? Are you really going to take your energy away from me? And until you actually do it and they feel that pain of that loss of the energy, people don't respond. But I feel like there's a lot of healing around you at the same time. Whatever is being purged out of you, this is a healing, and it's taking its time. But it feels like healing. Because I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I could squeeze you, like I could squeeze it all out of you. And it's like little Pac-Man things inside of you. It's interesting. They're nasty little buggers. It's interesting. Okay. I'm gonna get a couple more people in. I want to get in there. Okay. You, green shirt, yeah. Everybody's face is so funny. It's so funny because they're like, oh my God, me? I don't know what to do. Do I just get up and dance? It's funny. There is a process of education happening around you. So either you are going to be going back to school, or you're going to be in a position where you're going to be having to be trained on something. You're going to be learning something new. Now, I don't know if this is actual like a formal education, or going back to school formally, enrolling and everything, but it is definitely a learning experience. Hold on. They give me stuff and then they pull it away. Okay. Oh, you got so much coming through now. All right.
Is it like a tornado?
Yes.
Because that's how I get it.
Yes. Okay, so they showed me that and then they pulled it back. So the educational aspect is more going to be, well, they're showing me several things. There's a garden, very quickly. The garden represents our ability to give of ourselves. It represents our energy, our persona, who we are, not monetary, nothing earthly, okay? So the garden represents your ability to do for others and help others. And as I'm looking at this going, okay, this is a full garden. This means that God has a massive amount of work for you to do. You already know this. You are like, I need a wheelbarrow, I need a hoe, I need more seeds. Yeah, okay? So you have this huge garden that says, prepare, because I have a lot of work for you to do. He plants the seeds, and then you strength, and it's when you are just to your point where you can't go any deeper, you can't go any further, that he plants the garden. And you did not always know that garden was there, and he's saying that garden was not planted until you were done. You were done, and then you finally realize, well, what's this? Oh, it's a garden. I don't have to rely on all my own strength. Okay, perfect. And so he's saying that there was a point where you were just done and you didn't want to be here anymore, and he helped you to see this garden and to be able to pluck from it. And so now you go around. Now see, the thing about stuff like this is when you get to the point where you don't want to be here anymore, it's not like we're just standing there going, you know, this sucks. I don't want to be part of this life anymore. We don't just get to that point. Okay, so we're born, and you've got your guides over here and your angels over here who are here to help you and lift you and inspire you. But then you've got darker angels over here, and the devil's real, and he's very loud. And they're there to basically kick you and to ruin you and keep you down. And when you listen to them over this whisper, this is sometimes, you know, you either figure it out and go, I'm not done fighting. I'm gonna get up and beat the bejesus out of this. You know, this world is, you know, bloody and snotty and broken, and you're hanging and you're just like, you can't move anymore, and you're dragging. And that's basically where you either get up and you go figure out how to pull from that garden, or you don't get up. And so some people never get up. And so someone like yourself, if you've ever been to the point where you just don't want to be here anymore, you finally discovered your garden. And I can tell you 99% of the people who are living have at some point thought, I don't want to be here anymore. Nobody's alone in that. It's not something that is just like only Joe experiences. Everybody gets to a point where they just don't want to be here anymore. Who is it? I was gonna make you say the password. There is a password. So it's basically that. So when everybody here has a purpose. Everyone here has something to do. It's when, let's say you're going to save someone, or you're going to help guide someone yourself, you're gonna lift someone else up. These things over here don't want you to succeed, because then now you're helping save someone else, you're lifting someone else up, you're helping someone else see their garden before they get to that point. And so the devil's just like, when Mary is down, I want you to kick her until she's curled up in a ball and she can't get any further. Now it's at that point when you're going, okay, I hear I'm stupid, I'm bad, I shouldn't be here, nobody loves me anyway. I'm just, you know what, they're right. And we don't put those thoughts in our head, and God doesn't do that either. That's these things over here, and everyone is born with them. You have your angels and you have the darker angels, and everybody is born with a perfect set. And you have to figure out and discern and be wise and learn how to listen, and that's what he's saying he did. And so when you are to the broken point, when your bones are crushed and broken and you've been scraped up across the rocks on the bottom, he just kind of picks you up and he goes, okay, it's exactly how I needed you to be, without an ego and a will. Now, you know, then he just kind of breathes that life back into you, and now all of a sudden you're going, I almost died. I almost wasn't here anymore. I didn't want to be here, and something happened. And everyone who has been to that point can identify the moment when they said, something happened in my life and I turned it around. And if you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you never forget it, because now you know you're not here for yourself anymore. You've given up your own will. You're here to do God's will. And that, I was there. I know it. I understand what it's like. And it's a scary moment when you really are just not, you just don't want to be here anymore. And it's because when you are helping people and when you are guiding people, you're doing God's work, and you don't have to be perfect and shiny and spectacular. He doesn't pick those people to do that work for him. He picks the broken people, the sinners, the people who just aren't imperfect. You know, everybody here, how about, is there anybody here who feels like an outsider all the time? Anyone? I've always been an outsider. I've never been included in anything. People are like, what? I'm like, no, I haven't. I've been like the one like bullied and beaten up and left on the, you know, even today, it's so funny. This is for all you moms who are watching this, but I'm still like the, I'm still the person that when you go to the school, all the moms are like this in their little perfect circle. And I'm just standing there like, I don't belong here. You know, that's just me. And there's always a time when you feel like you're the outsider. And it's funny how similar people really are when you just feel like you don't belong. So for you, he's saying he recognizes his work within you and that you're supposed to continue doing it. And that you working and developing yourself is helping to lead others to hearing it verbally from you and helping to identify this voice over this one. And so overcoming is a major thing for you. On top of that personal growth of helping others, it's strengthening yourself as well. And so he's wanting me to tell you that he recognizes that in you. But that's what, I will. No, just shut up and just go do what he wants you to do. Just go do it. My next book, and I'll get on to a couple more people, my next book is called God, Please Tie My Shoes. And it's because the main idea behind it is he never moves, spirit never moves, ever. We do. We get lost, we wander away. And I realized it one day, on several occasions, he made it very clear. Where a child asks, will you tie my shoe for me? And then you go to tie their shoe and they get their fat little fingers in there like, I'm going to tie my own shoe. And I just, do you want me to help you? Or are you going to keep doing it? Because I got things to do. I got a lot of people to tend to. But it's basically giving up your will and allowing God to do what you've asked him to do. So if you're going to ask him for something, step back and just stop trying it and let him do it. Just let him do it, because that's what he wants to do as a parent, as a grandparent, as a mom, as a dad, as mom. If somebody asks you for help, are you sure you want me to help? Because if you want me to help, then that means you gotta go set your ass down, because you're in my way. You are in my way. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with him. Really, you want my help? Because if you do, how many times, I'm like that. I'm like one of those people who's supposed to figure it out. So I'll be like, I'm gonna figure this out. I know this Chinese puzzle. I'm gonna do it. Like, no, let me try it. Let me try it. My kids are saying, give it to me, Mom. I'll try it. Oh my God, no, I'm gonna figure it out. Finally, it's just here. Just take it. I'm done with it. You just have to throw away your will. All right. But that's so much. That's the best part. That's the most fun part of being an adult, is when you can just throw away your responsibility and trust that. I don't know where the checkbook went. I have no idea. I just know he's gonna somehow come up with the money for that. And he always does. It's really cool. Even if he makes me work for it or makes me figure it out, I'm always like, oh, I know what to do. I get it. So much fun like that. I love that. It's always a little miracle here and there. Okay. There's messages coming through, and I just want to figure out where they fall. For you, there's two different paths when I read for people. There's the spiritual path, which is usually the one I try to start off with. But then there's the earthly path. And the earthly path is a long hallway with doors. So the first door on the left is money and finance, career, work, that sort of thing. And then down the hall on the right is relationships, and then further on down the hall is health. And so when I am standing next to you here, the first doorway, you kind of go like this, shoo, and you push the door open and you let me walk in. When I walk into the room, you have several boxes, and they look empty. So this is representing the question of how am I, there's change with work and money and finance, there's change coming. But how do I clear this out? How do I fix this? How do I simplify this room? In the center of the floor, there's a bit of a drain. So in that drain, it almost looks like you've gone over there with something like clay or silly putty or something, like you've tried to fill in the hole because it represents waste. So somehow money is falling down this drain that is being taken by someone or something needlessly. This is your money, it doesn't need to go to whatever it's going to. and at some point you've tried to stop it up, but it's still getting through like a half of the drain that's still open. And so someone is getting funds from you or help from you where they don't deserve it, or that you, by helping them, are enabling a different behavior that you don't want. That's what that drain represents. So you're still trying to figure your own thing out, but you're helping someone else, or you're providing for someone else, and you're trying to figure out how to simplify. So it means that you have to cut off anywhere that money does not need to go out. And over on that wall, money shown coming in is like tubes. It goes in a tube and then it goes out a tube. And so you had, there's a tube here. There was one down here at some point, but you filled that in, which would have been a lower position or a lower paying position. And this hole is all, the tube's gone, the hole's filled in, so it's something here. But now there's something above it that represents, and it's a smaller tube, but it's up. So what it's showing me is that job change is coming. The job that you're going to be taking is going to probably be less of an income, but it's more of what you want. It's what you want. This is what I want to do it, but it's less income. I just don't know how to fix it, because then I got these bills to go out. But what it is a stepping stone. So this bigger one right here is basically going to lead you to this one up here that you really truly want to do, work for career-wise, but it's represented by a smaller income or something less. So it's basically saying that you will be doing something from going from this job here to something that may have a bigger pay increase, but less opportunity, more of a ceiling, less creativity, less of an opportunity to grow. And then you can go boom and jump to this next one that is it looks like less income, but more of what you want, because it helps you rise to what you're capable of. And in the process of doing that, it almost is like you're able to simplify everything around you, remove things you don't need, you take things away that you don't, it's like, it just all of a sudden there's like a whoosh, and all the things that you wanted in the boxes are in the boxes, and everything is just neat. So simplification as well, meaning if you haven't touched it or looked at it in the last 6 months, get rid of it. Box it up, storage, Goodwill, sell it, whatever you're gonna do with it, but get it out of your sight. When you walk into a cluttered room with a lot of things, your energy has to bounce off of every one of those corners. So if you walk into some place that's cluttered, and if they say a cluttered room shows a genius, no, it just doesn't.
I just started putting stuff in the sack this morning.
Good, well, because the smoother it flows through, the ease of your energy flowing through a room. So simplify, put things away. If you don't use it, if it's in my way, it's gone. I'm like, my mom's like, do you want this? It was mine when I was a child. No, I don't. I love you, but it's just gonna get in the way. And I can't, my energy can't, I need nothing. Nothing. Are you sure? No, Mom. I don't. I'm sorry. If I do, it has to be in something flat. Like it's got to be simple. So a lot of positive change. It just looks like it'll be a lot of work on your part to recognize and then move forward with those. And then it's spring. It's the best time to clean anyway. Get rid of all the dust. I think I cleaned up the dogs have their own room in the laundry room, and I think I cleaned up like 40 pounds of dirt from them over the winter. Oh, it's the worst. Okay, I know we're at time, but I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything that I'm supposed to say. I just want to touch on everybody really quickly before we go, so that everybody gets something. So I did not read for you, correct? Okay. So they take me straight to health, and I don't think it's particularly for you. I think it is for someone else. But I'm supposed to talk about my throat. Like, I am supposed to mention my throat. So for you, the one thing that they're talking about is like sinuses, maybe allergies even, but nothing health-wise for you that's
bad or dangerous or anything of that nature, but for you, it would be like sinus or dealing with, I don't want to say congestion, it feels more like allergies. But someone is coming through that does want me to talk about thyroid, and I don't think that they're talking about it being your thyroid, it's their thyroid, someone else's thyroid. And there's a lot of, the person wants me to acknowledge, it's so weird, I can't just say, it's a color, but I have to come up with, it would have to be like hypothyroid because they're trying to get me to recognize something slow or grounded. So someone who would have dealt with thyroid issues, may have even had a thyroid removed. This would be probably someone who's passed over, not someone who's living. And they, I'm not sure if the name is Lucy or Luke, but Lou, that I'm supposed to be mentioning Lou or something. Does that make sense to you?
Mhm.
Okay. And it smells like regular bubble gum. I don't like regular bubble gum, but like bubble gum,
Yeah.
you know? Just bubble gum. The pink kind. I'm not digging that. And they always give me the flavors and things that I don't like, probably because I do recognize them. Give me some like wine. Pinot would be great. But they want me to recognize that. And then my teeth, like my back teeth, they want me to talk about my back, my molars and stuff being of a problem in nature. I'm not sure if I have to have them pulled or if there's a lot of dental work having been done, but they want me to acknowledge this. And food is fun, I guess. Apparently food is fun now. Food is fun. And I know that sounds weird, but it makes me feel like I have something gastrointestinal happening here, that food is now fun. I don't have issues. And take your trip. Go on the trip. Take the trip. Okay. All right. And you're still cold, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm sweaty and this form is keeping it contained.
You don't believe in me, really? It's like 80 degrees in here now. I am sweaty, but it's all good. Y'all are comfortable. It's okay. They show you walking up to a building that almost looks like the White House, but I'm assuming this is educational instead. It looks like pillars. So just long, tall pillars. As you're walking up to this building, you go like this. You like before you do that, you can hear music, and you turn, and you're like, oh, and everything just kind of falls off your arms, and you're like, oh, and you just start walking away from where you were headed. So you may end up taking a break and then going back to school at another date. There's some kind of like transition from this direction all of a sudden to this one. So I would call it maybe a feeling of a calling or a feeling of redirect and with purpose. And it not only is discovery, but it's a self-discovery. So it feels like your education will be broken into two major portions. And it will be filled with creativity and artistry between the two portions. And that is where the self-discovery and personal healing and health, it kind of grows and just becomes bigger. It helps you to identify where you were taking this and now where you're gonna go with it later and it feels like it's bigger than you or where your initial idea. So I would think later on in life you'll end up going back to school for more graduate and beyond degrees. Have you ever considered psych? Have you ever considered like counseling, psych, and that kind of thing?
That was my original major in undergrad.
It was your original and then you switched it?
Yeah.
Oh, she's listened to the music and went the other way. Yeah. I'm wondering how you're going to be redirected back to your psych degree later on. It's interesting. It's very cool. Yeah, right? All right.
That was the music.
That's the music. See, this is the luck you guys had of having such a smaller group. If there was like 15 more of you, I would not be doing this. But when I get to a point where I'm able to read, what they show for you is you are standing on solid ground here between, I want to think between me and halfway through that black table marks the other side of this little ravine here. And I'm standing here down a little bit further. This is a bridge. And I know that if I walked the bridge, it's very easy for me to cross. I mean, it's no problem. Once I get there, I know I'm going to end up crossing. I'm going to feel compelled to cross. But I'm standing here, still trying to figure it out if I genuinely feel like wanting or want to cross this. So what this represents is, this is comfort. This is everyone you know. This is everything you know. This is easy over here because it's just, you just do it. You close your eyes and you can do it. The other side, you look, when I'm standing here with you looking at that, I'm thinking that looks like super fun. I'm probably gonna throw up when I do it, but it looks like it's a good time. We're talking like roller coasters and stuff, okay? That's just they're trying to get me to understand that excitement, that fun, that, just the exhilaration. But still standing here, my feet are planted. They're trying to get me to understand where you would be coming from, that in order to do all of that, you have to give something up on this side to cross over. And it's basically moving from your comfort to new experiences and things that you've never done before. And you're questioning, like, it's not even there's anybody around you doing it. You're questioning yourself and your own capabilities, your own abilities at this point. Like, am I able to do that? Can I do that? Is it even possible right now? And so the answer is yes. If God places a bridge or an opportunity in front of you, he doesn't wave carrots. He doesn't do that. He basically says, you can have this, here you go, whenever you're ready, it's right here. So there are opportunities coming to you that are going to change your entire situation. And I feel like there's a move involved, but I also feel like before that happens, there is a closure that needs to happen between you and someone else. I'm not sure if this is sisterly or motherly, but there is a situation that you would have to close off before you are able to feel within your heart that it's okay to cross this bridge and do this over here. And it feels also that when you do cross the bridge and go over here, that this is where you kind of stand and go, okay, well, I'm done with that now. What do I do with me? It's almost like a rediscovery, like you're rediscovering yourself, and now everything that you've been used to doing all the time is different. It's like, now what? Do whatever you will, because it's just, and letting you know maybe that it's like the knowledge of this is coming, is it's meant to be this way. You're eventually going to be crossing over to this side and starting anew. And it can be so scary, but so exciting at the same time. I haven't read for either of you, correct? You and you. And did I read for everybody else at that point? And you, okay. Oh, I'm not gonna read for you tonight. I'll read for everybody else tonight. No. All right. I'll have us out of here in 15 minutes. Well, you can leave in 15 minutes. You can leave anytime you want, but as long as I'm not holding people up, because I am beyond the time frame. Okay. You, in the back. Okay. I'm being told the biggest thing for yourself is to love who you are, loving who you are, and they show you wearing like ear muffs, like covering your ears. And it's almost as if I would have put those on a long, long time ago, because I was just hearing the same thing. So what they're trying to say is taking from this very second of life back and voiding what you have heard or felt or experienced, because it's all false. It's not, and picking those up and putting them on and just kind of going going, okay, like trying not to hear so many things. But even if I take those off, I can still hear it all. So it's not, they're not protecting you at all. It's basically you, there has to be, see, I'm not seeing you being the wrongdoer here, but I am hearing you being the post of which, you know, the whipping post, or the subject of matter, or the one that was witnessing or hearing, experiencing. And one of the hardest things to do is to let go and truly forgive the people around you who have wronged you. And so what they're saying for yourself is like visualizing yourself, just sit there, stand there, just close your eyes and visualize yourself with these ear things on, and take them off and visualize taking them off, and then see them in your hand and just watch them kind of go up in smoke and blow the ashes away. They're gone. You're never going to put those back on again. And then you're going to see, this looks like mother, father, it looks like parental. It feels like it goes back. And then we're talking like school. So there's a list, I think there's like 5 people here on this line. 2, 4 people, and then yourself. And you're gonna go through and you're gonna go to every one of them, you're gonna say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And you're basically going to be doing this not for them, for you. And you're gonna have a dialogue with each one of these individuals, and then you're gonna end it with yourself. You're gonna see yourself standing there, and you're gonna say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And what happens when we do this is we recognize all of the things we've held against ourselves, and the pains and things that we did not cause, we did not make happen, yet we carry it. And so your journey right now that I'm being told to tell you is letting go of everyone that you have felt has had some form of impression to create who you are today, and then letting go of who you were from this very second on to the back that would have even inclined towards believing anything that was said or done, and letting her go as well. Because I see, you know, you are this, you're such this like strong energy on the outside, but you're like a cream puff on the inside. And you're squishy. You want everybody else to feel squishy. You're like bean bags, lava lamps, everybody come on in and sit down. And so your people first meet you, this is the thing. They meet you, they're like, she is tough, she is capable, she is hard. But then they get to know you, and they're like, she's a marshmallow. Who are you talking about? Her? You can squeeze her. So know that's who you are, and love that person, because that's the person that is just like so amazing and so caring and giving. And once you let go of all of this, and you'll love yourself, then you'll find it so much easier. And doing that, oh my gosh, you'll do it alone, because by the time you get to yourself and you say those words, you're gonna be snotty and crying, and you're not gonna want anybody around to see that. One of the easiest ways to start is watch a sad movie. Just watch something that makes you cry anyway, and then start the process of forgiveness. And last but not least, right? Thank you all for coming tonight. Oh, you. Okay, yeah, I was just joking. I was actually interviewing you. I lose my train of thought. I do. Okay. I'm going to grab you first. So last but not least. Your view almost looks aerial from above. It looks like somebody who's skydiving. That's how it looks. I think this is for you, not you. Pretty sure it's your reading. And I feel almost like, see, when we're born, before we're born, they kind of, you know, everybody kisses us goodbye, and we're born. And when we're born, that memory of who we were, what we've done, what we know is all wiped clean, and that cheat sheet is removed, and so we just kind of are who we are now. And we lose that connection to spirit so much that we have to kind of grow and build it. But sometimes we are put into a situation of like near death or bad health, things that happen that lift that veil so much that it gives us a reconnect, so to speak. And so what they're telling me is at some point, it almost like when I'm looking at you or from your perspective, I feel like I'm out of body. And I feel like I'm looking at everything happening around me at the right in time, but like something would have happened. I'm like, something would have happened if you were in an accident or you were in a coma or something where I just feel I would have been reconnected for a split moment. I'm supposed to tell you that whatever that dream or that feeling was real. It legitimately happened. It's what I'm supposed to tell you. And so even if you felt like it was a dream or you felt like it never happened, they're saying that you like walked up to the threshold, you shook their hand, and then you went back, but it was real. Does that make, without telling me, does that make any sense to you? Just like a yes or a no?
Like, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Like in like a past life experience or like today?
This life, yes, this lifetime. Where, because the past life would have been different. You could have been something completely different, but it would have been this life of reconnect to where it would be either hearing or feeling, feeling like you may even be dreaming, but out of body. Have you ever, and this, anybody, you know, somebody else might agree with or understand this too, but falling asleep, the moment you fall asleep, your mind shuts off the idea that you're locked in. Like your brain shuts off the idea that everything is possible. Subconscious and everything can kick in. And if you maintain that awareness, and some people don't realize they do it, but if you maintain the awareness that, oh, I'm asleep, you can, and you might jump out of that connection, spiritual connection. Who has done it?
I do.
Okay, I've done it twice, and it is a freaky idea, but you're out of your body, and it feels like a dream, but
you walk through it. It's like,
yeah, it's really, but they're saying it's real, like you broke that threshold and you've like done that. But it feels like it's through a communication too that you may have thought was a dream, but you were actually communicating with a male figure, like a brother figure of some kind. Somebody who would have been a platonic level who's passed over, that you would have thought was a dream, but you actually were there conversing with this individual. Does that make sense to you? You're like, no, you don't remember any of it. Okay.
I mean, I've had it.
It would be heightened, it's like heightened awareness. It's really, that's what the scary part is because you all of a sudden hear everything real loud.
Like when you come out, like I've had experience with like I'm coming out of my body.
See, that's the thing. You may be conscious of having done it, but you have done it. So you want to reconsider like any of those dreams, those waking moments where you feel like you were with someone who's passed over, you actually were like right there with the person who's passed over. Like you were out of your body in that. It's scary, but it's super cool. And so I guess maybe the part that they're trying to get you to understand is that you have, it's not easy to do. You really have to work on it. It's not easy to do. But then, okay, so then I have to move on. I know. But we won't be on here at 7:30, okay? A few more minutes past that. But they're there's someone else around you, this like grandfather, someone with Alzheimer's, that's also like connecting that way. I'm not reading you, right? You're not like, see, because I switched from you to her at the last minute, but it's like you're talking to people in your dreams. Do your dreams come true? And don't even answer it. The question, I'm trying to like get you to consider the things, like paying attention and then maybe seeing or talking to someone and then finding out that either they're passed over or they were asleep. It's just like pay attention to your dreams, because I'm thinking you're doing more working and living in your dreams, especially if you're not waking up rested, you're waking up really tired, or you're tossing and turning a lot at night. I think it's because you're not sleeping. I think you're wandering around.
I literally feel like I go to different worlds while I'm sleeping.
Really?
I literally do.
You need to get up and record that, like, okay, temporary,
And there's no
and there's a new name like one Doc Long, and he just bought a tractor, you know, whatever. And then check out for that dude on Facebook and be like, dude, he just bought a tractor! I just was at your place last night. Like you're on the roof. But pay attention to your dreams and record them or write it down and then research it. It's really cool. It's maybe just to make you more aware of what you're capable of. So you're not just assuming that like, I'm not sleeping at night, you know, that kind of a thing. That's really cool. But I'm glad you said something, because I was losing my mind and trying to re-describe it, that you feel like you're traveling to different places. It's very neat. Okay. And last but not least, all right, let's look at you. All right. Oh. So the one thing, and I'm trying to figure out if this is now. I think this is a now thing for this lifetime. You're walking, and you have a little boy who's following you. Excuse me. And you're walking and you go, oh, hi, come on, let's go. And you kind of bend down and you take his hand and you go, let's go. And you're walking with him. And I'm going, that's why it took me a moment, because I'm going, is this like her son, or is this a son that is or was to be? And so as I'm watching you, this is almost like the spiritual connection. And so there is a little boy around you that plays more like your Jiminy Cricket than anything. He is your conscience and he helps guide you. And I don't see him coming down into an earthly form, but I'm seeing him more of an angelic presence around you. And I know the name Alf or Alfie sounds like what he wants me to refer to him as, so it may not be a name that you recognize, but and your hair isn't normally that dark, right? It's more like a walnutty brown, maybe, a little bit lighter than that, because that's about what his hair looks like. He says that it's not as dark as that. And when you're about to do something, you need to listen to him, because he says you don't always listen to him. And then he'll stop you and he'll go, no. And you will continue doing something and go, oh, should I do it? Or I should, and something about buying a car coming up, or having just purchased a car, something about buying a car. So he's like, I will go with her to buy the car, I will be there it's about a car, and he's like, listen. He will tell you yes, no, good, bad, buy, don't. He's going to help you, so listen to it. But it looks like being caught between sporty and logical. I would totally go sporty, and he's going, no, she needs something reliable. Looks like we're working, because like you're a workaholic or something, like you work. Like he's saying this is very important aspect of things. And that he also hangs out with his grandpa But I'm thinking, are you guys married? Is your father or something that he hangs out with? That calf, heart, so heart, catheter, somehow he's talking about the heart having a blockage of some kind, and he hangs out with him and they watch baseball together. And they also sit up on the back of the couch against the wall. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but they sit on the back of the couch, and that there's a cat or something that gets shoved off, pushed off back. It's almost like I'm leaning up against the couch or something, but there's something up on the couch here that falls or gets knocked off. I'm thinking that's a cat. You know, cats will fall on all fours if you, how far you throw them. I know because I had a cat that got scared one day and it ran across the top and it went to jump on the ledge over the stairs in the balcony. And before I could run around to catch him, he was like scrambling up the wall, and then he did a few flips in the air before I could catch him. And he did. He landed all the way on all fours. He was like, what? Nobody saw that, right? Totally calm. I thought, oh my God, how did you even survive that? But they do. I don't know how. My son's like, can we try that again? I'm like, no. No, we can't. See if you can do that again. So you have this little boy and this grandfather figure that sit on the back of a couch and watch TV, and where you are concerned, then they're also saying that this path is about to change for you. That there's like a hump of getting over for you. That there's just a bit of a sadness of getting over there, and it's funny because they're like one and the same, like a pair. So this is just a little boy who at some point may have been connected to you to coming down, but chose to stay behind as a guide rather than a child. So it's very cool. It's very cool. All right. Well, thank you guys all so much for coming. And if you don't know, I do a lot of this free on YouTube. You can get on, check my website because I don't know my dates, but it's a lot of fun. Just get in, just say, hey, I'm new here, and I really try to get all the new people, and I will just read people throughout the chat. It's a lot of fun. And then I also do it in Facebook, so I have a Facebook page. It's just / God's Reader, and I do galleries there on Wednesdays too, if I don't forget. But I do a lot of free stuff so that everybody has a chance of getting a reading, especially people who can't pay for it. And some people just hop in to listen. You guys do the galleries, you said?
Mm-hmm.
You've been into the galleries? They're fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're a lot of fun. And I have fun. I go into them going, oh, I'm so tired, and then I'm just like, woo, I feel all energized when I'm done. But so yeah, so check those things out, and I thank you guys all. It was awesome meeting you. Please let me know, like, just say, hey, after, if I read you, don't say anything ahead of time, but later on in the chat, I go back and stuff, just let me know that you were here, and or that, yeah, that I met you here, and that would be fun. So thank you all very much for coming tonight.
Can you go back and watch that one?
Yes, as long as it recorded, because I have this really weird dot on here, so it looks like it did. Yeah, so you can't see you guys, but you'll hear where I was in the reading, and you'll know about what, if you know where you can remember where I was reading people, then you'll know where I was. So thank you for everybody for watching too. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. All right. It's not going to turn off, so we're not going to worry about this right now. Turn off. Okay. Well, there we go.